I'm delighted to have Yesim Nicholson with us in the studio. Hello, Yesim.
Hello.
So we're going to talk about how to prioritise our marketing. And I guess in this day and age, there are so many things we could be doing, aren't there, in our businesses? You know,
Yep.
should we do this? Should we do that? How do we make sense of all this? How do we work out where our time should go?
We do all of them, all at once. No,
Do we?
No, not at all.
But people do.
Yeah, people try to do
And
all
do a
of them
pretty
all at
poor
once.
job of it.
Yeah, that's the trouble with trying to do too many things, and you get overwhelmed and you get disappointed because it doesn't work. And
so come on, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, what are you going to do? So the first thing I would say is to get out. So get out of where you normally work from. And I know it sounds really simple and basic, but just getting out of your normal working environment is going to provide you with just a different point of view on things. So that's my first thing. Get out.
So move away from your normal work.
Absolutely.
Don't just go and stand in the garden, but just get away from your normal workspace.
That's right.
Go and put yourself into a different situation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Different headspace.
All right, we've done that. Now what are we going to do?
So once you've done that, then you can start writing down all the ideas that you've had, or that you might have had, or things that you might have heard about. So, you know, there's all these different things that are.
So do a bit of a brain dump, get everything out.
Get them all down on a piece of paper, or on a, you know, a whiteboard, or whatever you've got handy. Just get it out there. And then once you've done all of that, then you can start thinking about what your expected outcome would be if you did each of the various things. So you might say, well, if I set up a Facebook fan page, what sort of outcome would I expect from that? And what would my return on investment be, or my potential return on investment? And
presumably as you go through that process, if the answer is, I've got no idea what I'm going to get out of it, that kind of suggests we need to go and do a bit of research.
Very possibly.
Yeah, okay.
And you might find when you go through that exercise that 2 or 3 things really stand out that would be very, very powerful, that would get you a really good return, or really good exposure.
Get the phone ringing or start stuff happening.
Yeah. Hopefully a few of the activities will jump out at you immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Presumably this would be something as well that I could imagine a business owner doing it with a buddy, with another person. This would be a useful little sort of group brain dump, wouldn't it?
That would be superb. If
Yeah.
you've got somebody that you can bounce ideas off, perfect. Ideally a mentor, somebody who specialises in marketing.
Not just happen to be a mentor, do you?
Maybe. But it doesn't have to be at all. It could be somebody that you just, you know, you get together, have a cup of coffee, and they just help you out with some brainstorming. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then once we've narrowed this down, then it's into action, presumably.
Yeah, well, I would always say narrow it down to about 3 or 4 activities that you feel comfortable with, that you feel that you might get a good return on, and then start implementing. And the most important thing is that you measure what your return is. So so you have your expected ROI, return on investment, and then you need to start measuring it. And the way you measure it is every time you get an inquiry, every time you get a sale, just ask that very vital question: where did you hear about us?
Yeah. Okay.
And it doesn't matter whether you record the answers in a very fancy CRM system, a customer relationship management system, or just a simple Excel spreadsheet. Worst case scenario, just write it on a piece of paper. It doesn't matter.
And then with so many things kind of evolving the way they are at the moment, once we've prioritised and we've made some headway, we know what we're doing and off we go, something else then kind of comes in from the side, another new thing. How do we handle that? Again, presumably, you've answered it, I guess. We need to pull that apart and see, what am I going to get from this?
Absolutely.
What have I got to put into it?
Absolutely. That's the most important question to ask, is what am I actually going to get out of this? Is it going to put me in front of my target audience? I have a lot of clients, for example, that call me up and they say, oh, I've just had a call from the Yellow Pages and they're offering me this fantastic deal on a year's advertising.
Should I do it?
What should I do?
Yeah.
So my first question is always, is your target audience reading the Yellow Pages?
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, then it might be worth considering.
Yeah.
If the answer is probably not, then that answers the question, really.
Yesim, thank you very much for joining us again and sharing your tips. Thank you.
Very welcome.